What's up, everyone? How you doing? Welcome to Motorcycle Madhouse. We're going to be having a special guest on, but first, man, some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about later on in the interview after everything goes down is we're going to be talking about confidential informants, people that are out bad and the consequences it brings. Yes, I know we are a little early, but hey, we got a lot of guys in the chat room right now, so I wanted to make sure to get out there and get this sucker going. What's up, Mr. Perfect? But we're going to roll that intro.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7, 24/7.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Hollywood Motorcycle Madhouse on Spotify and iTunes Radio.
So how's everybody doing during this damn freaking coronavirus thing, man? You guys out there freaking staying good, staying freaking safe, I hope. Getting a lot of ride time in as well, man. But today we have a very special guest, and he has been doing a lot on Facebook, but he has now come over to YouTube, and that is Miklo 1%er. How you doing, Miklo?
What's up, Hollywood? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How you guys doing over there, man? You guys staying safe?
Yeah, doing the best we can, you know.
Rock and roll, man. So everybody knows. Let me know your deal, man, and all that good stuff, how you got started on YouTube, on Facebook, the whole 9 yards.
My name is Miklo 1%er. I'm a founding member and a chapter president of Los Perros MC. And I'm a lead administrator on MC for Life. That's our Facebook page that me and a few of my brothers put together about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And, you know, we just want to bring positivity to the MC world. We want to help bring around positive change any way we can.
Rock and roll, man. That's good stuff there. What do you think about what's going on in the scene right now, man? I know I see it all the time from you. You know, I do follow you a lot, man. I watch what you're putting out there. And it's great that somebody else is trying to put out the positive in the scene. I know with us on Biker News, man, we're always usually in the negative stuff. But again, you know, the news is the news.
Yeah. We, you know, most of all, we want clubs to try to keep an open mind to positive change. You know, protocol has stayed the same for a long time in many aspects, but in other aspects, it has adapted and changed when it had to. You look at people like J.R. Reed, you know, things got ugly in the 90s, and he, you know, did what he did, and it helped the MC world. So the MC world can change and adapt when it has to, and I just want people to keep an open mind when it comes to positive change.
Well, you bring up J.R. Reed. Now, for those that don't know who J.R. is, he was the former national for the Sons of Silence Motorcycle Club. J.R. is one of the best leaders out there that ever came to the MC world before he passed away. And like you said, he got real tired of all the fighting within the MC, and he actually helped start NCOM, and J.R. Reed is one of those guys that many of today's, you know, motorcycle club members should really look to, and even the leadership should be looking to the examples that J.R. Reed set, because it was some tough times back in the 1970s, man, when them Vietnam boys were coming back home. They taught us, you know, taught my generation a thing or two, and I think it's my fault that not my fault, but my generation, you know, didn't pass it along like they did. But, you know, he really got together with some of the clubs, because when they were warring back then, man, they were warring. It was hardcore back then.
Right.
And, you know, getting the NCOM started, you know, everybody knows, I don't know if you guys are, but, you know, I really support NCOM and its mission. By the way, the convention for NCOM has been canceled for May. It's moving back to August, I believe, so I'll be able to get that information. But what steps do you think, since you brought up JR, that really made an impact on the way things are done now?
I totally look up to JR as a leader, and some of the things he did that I think helped create positive change was, as you mentioned, he helped start the income, and he was willing to take a peaceful approach to things instead of just jumping in head first into war situations, and I think people could benefit from, thinking that way, because it's only going to take a few more Waco and Cleveland type incidents before, they're going to outlaw riding with patches on altogether, so we really got to get shit into gear right now. So
right.
they can change.
Well, you're right, man. A couple more Wacos and another Cleveland or something, especially what's going on now. The DOJ actually denies it, but, during this crisis, they were trying to get emergency powers to hold you and detain you without trial, basically going against your Fourth Amendment rights. And
yeah,
the government don't need much freaking, cause to go after you. And motorcycle clubs, and I'll talk about later on in the show after the interview about confidential informants, they're everywhere, man. And, I look at, I bring up that this is just an example of how they are, just a quick peek into what I'm going to be talking about. And this ain't even biker related. This has to do with Lori Loughlin. She's an actress and charged in that college bribery scandal. And it turns out the feds were, coaxing the witness not to tell them the truth of where this money was going to, so they'd bribe them. They arrested them for bribery. That is how far the government will go. And motorcycle clubs, and you bring up a good point, they got to start realizing this, man. Technology nowadays, you can't do what you could do in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
That's right.
That's
right. Law enforcement is treacherous. Yeah.
They're freaking, the ruthless, especially with the technology now. But what kind of things with protocol, as a one percenter, do you think need to be changed?
Well, like we had an incident recently here in my state, Virginia, where a club rolled up on another club at a gas station, and they thought that their patch looked too much like a diamond, so they had them publicly remove their patches. And little did they know, the woman who had created these patches was very well connected, so they kind of, grabbed the rattler by the tail and, doing that, publicly humiliating these people, and that's just, I think that they could have handled that a lot better. There are righteous 1% clubs out there that just rise above it. They're not out there rolling gas station to gas station, looking at people's patches and trying to cause confrontations like that. And I think, certain clubs should look at the better example being set by clubs like that, and just
Are you talking about the example that Big Kaz gave?
The incident here in Virginia was Big Cell did a big
Oh yeah, not Big Kaz, my fault. I don't know why I got Big Kaz on, but Big Cell. I just seen Big Cell came back, so I got confused. I just watched a video on him, but go ahead. It was Big Cell, guys.
Yeah, love Big Cell. Big Cell, that's one of my closest brothers right there.
Yeah, you know what? I really love his. I love his channel, man. You know what? You can always tell the people that get real. It's because they're not going to sugarcoat anything for you. They're, Big Cell does it, I think, the same way I do, is straight down the middle. If the clubs are cool. If the clubs are wrong, we're going to call that crap out. I do get a lot of phone calls from motorcycle clubs. Hey, why you doing this? Well, why you doing that? Go ahead.
Right. Somebody's got to have the balls to do it, man, and I'm glad you do. It makes a big difference. I think that one other thing that big clubs need to, try to think about is creating assets instead of liabilities. You know, for example, we are a relatively new 1% club, and there are a lot of 1% clubs out there that have treated us awesome from day one. And with them, I mean, they have our absolute loyalty. They've created total assets in us. And other clubs out there that have, you know, tried to bully us or extort us because we're a newer club, I mean, we look at them as enemies, you know. So I think it's just being tactical and smart. You know, clubs need to cooler heads prevail, I think, you know.
Well, you know, one thing with all the new technology, and I, you know, talk about this all the time, and this is one of the reasons I say go to riding clubs or social clubs, whatever, is why would you want to put your members in a position to where they're going to go to prison over snatching a patch? Because, you know, again, this ain't the past decades where, you know, a lot of people keep their mouth shut. Nowadays, they run straight to the cops.
Right.
So why
Right.
why put your
mentioned
people in
undercovers.
jeopardy?
Right. You mentioned undercovers. There are groups of undercovers out there trying to trick large 1% clubs into, you know, stating this is our territory, you're going to do what we say, or we're going to hurt you, because that's actually a RICO predicate. It falls under the bracket of extortion in the RICO statute. And there are groups of undercovers out there throwing 1% diamonds on their, you know, vest and walking around trying to provoke big clubs into, you know, threatening them so that they can hit them with a RICO. It's not like it was a few decades ago. You said it.
Right. Well, you know, that's exactly right. See, we got some people that are on YouTube as creators. One was an undercover cop. Now, this can tell everybody how different it is today compared to the way it was. Decades ago, when I even first came in, they wouldn't be on YouTube right now. They'd be hiding out or something like that. They wouldn't come right out because times have changed. You know, the clubs of the past are the clubs of the past, and they would have, you know, he would have been out in a river or something if they knew where he was. But
Right.
now you can't do that stuff because forensics is nasty. It's hard to get away with that crap. And that's
Right.
how they were able to get on and talk this stuff. Now, I know there's a lot of people that, you know, well, Hollywood, you know, some cops are good, some are bad. Yes, this is true. I gotta say, yes, it's true, even though I won't have a beer with them. You know, then they go, well, you support firefighters and da da da. Well, you know what? I love my firefighters, man. I have to say, I really support the Border Patrol and ICE. You know, yeah, they wear badges and stuff, but I support the hell out of them. So I'm not bashing everybody.
Right.
It's just growing up in Chicago, man, I've seen some shady crap out of cops, man. And if you guys don't believe it, you know, just go ahead and come to Chicago and see for yourself. Get into some business and they'll have their hands out for you. But that's another thing that, you know, a lot of people don't realize is you're putting your people in real danger doing some serious prison time. And when you're putting people into serious prison time, you're opening up the club to confidential informants.
You know, absolutely.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think I think that, you know, there are countless parts of protocol that should stay around forever, that should be timeless. You know, I love the 1% culture, you know, 100%. But part of that culture, I do think, is being able to adapt when you have to, you know, and we've done it before. And, you know, I think we're going to have to do it again nowadays.
Right. Well, you know what? Like you mentioned at the beginning
love-
of the show, man, J.R. Reed, he set the example of how to change.
Right. That's right.
You know, JR was something else, you know, talking to some people that knew him, and it's like, damn, man, you know, some of them older tramps, my God, were they smart.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Leaders. Yeah. You know, and like I said, I love the old school 1% culture, and I just want to see it stay around forever. I don't want to see it become contaminated and, you know, destroyed by today's, times. So I think it's important to strategically do what we have to do as a culture to survive, and while preserving the important parts of the culture.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's kind of the stuff that you talk about on your channel now, right?
Yes.
Rock on.
Yeah. Like, for example, one of the most recent videos I did is how to start a 1% club the right way, the respectful way, while still standing your ground. It is possible to stand your ground but still remain respectful and, not be spitting in other clubs' faces necessarily. You know what I mean? And like with us, for example, that's, taken us a long way. A lot of clubs have a lot of respect for us because we do stand our ground, but we remain respectful all the way. And it's important for people to know the difference, that, standing your ground doesn't necessarily mean stepping on toes and, being disrespectful.
Right.
Yeah. So that's an example. That's the most recent video I did. That's the type of content I plan on bringing.
Well, it's nice that, some more 1%ers are going out on creation to get their side of the story out. I know a lot of the bigger clubs, I hear from them off the side, but they can't come on the air because they're vipers, man. They really are. They're vipers. They'll twist it and turn it. When a club does come out and try to give their side of the story, they try editing it out just to make it look bad. And that's ridiculous. So that's why I'm glad that, we're getting more creators where clubs can come out, give their side of the story. Because let's face it, man, guys like me, Black Dragon, and the other channels, we actually got bigger audiences. I know through our radio show on Spotify and iTunes that we reach a hell of a lot of freaking people. And they're able to get it out there the way it needs to get out there. But that media is just messed up, if you ask me. And what you're talking about with the evolving, it's just like the dinosaurs. You don't evolve, man. You're not going to be here much longer. And I think it all really started with the profiling with Waco.
Yeah, I agree. We have a chapter in Texas, and they are really under the thumb of law enforcement down there. Law enforcement is all over everybody. If you're wearing a patch down there, it's rough.
Oh, yeah, man. It's like the epicenter of motorcycle profiling down there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw that video you did on the media. They twisted around that story about the people drinking the fish cleaner or whatever, fish tank cleaner.
Yeah. They're out there saying, well, this is his fault or that fault. And, next thing you know, you find out that it was fish cleaner, man. But they just totally twisted that story.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what a lot of clubs face, man.
Yeah. That's right. That's, and what they'll do is they'll sensationalize the violence. And then, for example, like the Waco, all those guys ended up getting let out, but that was far less sensationalized than the actual original story itself. The average Joe citizen, he only knows about the Waco shootout. He doesn't know that all the guys ended up getting out of prison. You know what I mean?
Well, right, because they didn't cover the release. If it wasn't for Popeye and the Confederation of Clubs down there, that could have had a worse outcome for all those that got arrested. And they didn't cover the part in Waco where I think it was 4 or 5 guys got shot by the cops, man. It was a turkey shoot. They didn't give ballistics, none of that stuff. They covered that stuff up. And, people, were outraged at the time, and Popeye and all them got together and started they got the biker movement in. They ended up beating Reyna, who was a freaking incumbent, and it's almost impossible to beat him as it is, but routed him by 20 points. So that's what happens when the clubs come together.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We got to be 3 steps ahead of the law enforcement and the media. That they're already on us, and they'll do anything to tarnish clubs' reputations altogether. So yeah, we got to be 3 steps ahead of them, and we got to work together.
Right, right. Well, what do you think about the new age of biker motorcycle club member coming in? I hear a lot of complaints about, the bangers are coming in the scene, and that's why this is happening. I came through, the banger
Yeah.
scene, but I don't, I just think they're a lot more faster to TCB than the older guys were. What's your thought on bangers coming in?
Right. Well, I think that, I was part of a street gang myself for many years, and I think it's a pretty common thing for, somebody to kind of grow out of the, street gang mentality and, seek brotherhood, want to seek brotherhood, but something different than the gang itself. So, but with me and with other people I've seen, I think the most important thing is to have a strong, positive mentor, somebody to sponsor you and, teach you the ways of this world, that it is different. I think there's a lot of new types of bikers coming into the scene. I think there's lazy people a lot that are coming in, and they, it gives people like us a bad name, people like my club, because here we are trying to, do everything the right way, and there are other people coming onto the scene just throwing on patches and trying to circumvent the system, and they don't know anything about anything. They don't know the history of the 1% culture whatsoever, and I think that it's important for young people, new people to the motorcycle world, to study as much history as humanly possible, and to, get friends, find some sort of a friend or mentor that has lived this life for many years that can actually teach you. I've been so blessed to have friends like Black Dragon and, my brother Mikey 1%er, and a lot of others, and that, I think, isn't to be underestimated. I think that's one of the most important aspects of coming onto this scene, coming into this world, is being ready to learn, being a sponge, being ready to sponge up all the information you can.
Right, right. Well, you said something really interesting, man. A lot, and this goes towards protocol, is a lot of people don't understand why the established clubs get so upset with these new clubs that just pop on something. And the truth is, these clubs went through hell, man. They put their work in. They went through the hang around. They went through the probate phase, the whole 9 yards. And then you got somebody that just pops on patches because they don't want to go through that process. And then they get the attitude, well, the Constitution guarantees me this and guarantees me that.
Right.
They have no idea. And, how can they even have pride in their patches if, they didn't go through all the prospect stuff?
Right. Well, and that's the thing, is if they're throwing on patches, that's the reason that like 90% of these new clubs fail so quickly, because they will get put through trials and tribulations. I mean, whether they want to or not. That's the funny part about it, is they're trying to avoid prospecting, but little do they know, by putting on those patches and just rolling out without permission, they're going to have to go to war, in many instances. And, going to war, risking your life every time you ride on your motorcycle is a hell of a lot worse than prospecting.
Right.
So
or going through the regular. I don't understand why they do, and this is just me. I don't understand why they'll pop on colors, do it all that way. All they're going to be doing is in their backyard, hiding out. Why not go to your dominant, get to know them, do it that way? Next thing you know, you're around 30 different clubs. You're at the parties. You're doing the rides. Why not just do it that way? I don't get it.
Well, I think what has discouraged a lot of clubs nowadays is that the word has gotten out there that they have just flat out said no to so many clubs by right now. The thing is, there are different blessings from different clubs. For example, like there's a club out there that is a very well-known club from California that actually blesses in 1% clubs. You can be a club blessed in by them, and you can wear a 1% patch if they deem you worthy. And most other clubs that give blessings, like a couple of clubs here in my state, for example, the only type of blessing they'll give you is if you're going to be a full-on support outfit of theirs, which means like you're theirs forever, you know. And basically what it is with that is if you become their support outfit, the only road is to that patch, that ultimate, you know, whatever club you're supporting, that's as high as you can go to get it. You go to that patch. So, you know, I do believe in building a new club. You should have the right to build a new club, but I think that it's mega important to do it the right way and do it the respectful way. And, you know, because the way a lot of these people that are doing it nowadays is kind of a spit in the face. They don't know anything about anything. They don't know any history. They don't know any protocol, and they just throw these patches on. And it makes it harder for people that do want to do it the right way. And, you know, what happened is this show, Sons of Anarchy, came out and basically flooded these dominants, basically. These dominants, I mean, I can kind of understand where they're coming from because, you know, they're getting like a club a week showing up and saying, we want to build a club, we want to build a club. So after several thousand clubs, they eventually just started saying no in a lot of areas.
Right.
You know, so
well, you know what's
now,
funny? While you're talking about that, Miklo, I just got somebody who just said, so basically motorcycle clubs are fascist. What do you think of something like that?
I disagree. I don't think I don't even know why somebody would say that. I don't understand the comparison between fascism and a motorcycle club.
Well, I guess what they don't understand is, especially on the local level, the cops know who the dominant is. And there's two parts to this, and this is why they're not fascists. I'm afraid I can't do that, whoever that is. There's two parts to that. One, the cops are going to blame the 1% dominant for everything that goes down with any of the clubs in the area because they know traditional protocol that they're going to go to that dominant. So when a club does not and they go out there and be freaking jerktards, next thing you know, the cops are all over the 1%ers, and the 1%ers don't even know what's going on. That's one of the reasons they do it. And secondly is John Q. Citizen does not know the difference between, say, the 81, AOA, SOS, any of them, to a club that just popped up. They don't know the difference, so they automatically say, well, it was this club, and next thing you know, you got more heat coming on. You know, you know, fascism is controlling people from the threat of violence. We already know that. You know, but, you know, motorcycle clubs is not about fascism. It's not about that crap, and that's one of the misconceptions out there.
Right. Well, you know, and that's, I think, is why it's so important for these larger, older clubs to inspire loyalty with, you know, by treating people the right way. Because some of these older, larger clubs, they pretty much they show up and they just are barking out what it's going to be. They don't want to hear anything about anything, and it's their way or the highway. And if you don't do exactly what they say, they're going to hurt you. And I think those are the guys that do need to keep an open mind to, you know, like I said, there have been multiple 1% clubs that have treated us right. And man, I would jump in front of a bullet for those dudes, man. But some of these other clubs that have tried to bully us, I mean, they're our enemies, you know, so it's every action gets an equal and opposite reaction.
Right. Well, you know what's funny? A lot of people ask me about the 1%er clubs. Everybody know where I came from. Everybody knows who I support. You know, I support Midwestern clubs, you know, the ones based in Chicago, the ones based in Denver, Iowa, and all that type of stuff. Because they're working class people. They don't. You can approach them. And you can go talk to them. Yeah. They're some of the best freaking guys in the world. But, you know, West Coast and East Coast are different.
Yeah, absolutely. I love them. I love the boys out of Chicago. They're some of the most righteous people you could ever meet. Absolutely. You know, that's somebody who taught me most of what I know is somebody out of that organization. Just as righteous as it gets. True brotherhood to the core.
You're damn right it is, man. And I know who you're talking about, but, those are the type of guys you jump in, give your life for. There's some hardcore working people, man. And I got to say, out of Chicago, that's why I'm actually going to be doing an interview with the Chicago Confederation of Clubs. That's why it's so tight in that confederation, is because they're outstanding freaking guys, and that goes for not only Chicago but JR's old crew. They're awesome people. That's all I can say. That they're down to earth. I know who you're talking about on the West and East Coast, and mainly they need to get it together, because they're the ones destroying the damn lifestyle, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Right, you're absolutely right. I did a post recently where the picture I did was of a guy hitting a guy with a bat from behind at a gas pump, and it was an incident that happened here on the East Coast. You probably know about it.
Oh yeah, we covered it.
That's the type of yeah, that's just cowardly to me. 5 guys on one little old guy like that, and that's the type of shit that fucks everything up for everybody, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That turns independent bikers against clubs in a heartbeat, that kind of stuff. And you know what? That is a coward move, man. That's, I ain't going to even swear. I got to calm down on this platform, but I wish I can because I have to transfer this over to radio. But that's some coward-ass shit. Let's just put it straight, man. You need 5 guys to beat up on an old guy. Give me a break, man. That's just like that thing down in Texas where they took 20 to beat up 2. Come on.
That's right. Yep, I know about that one too. That's total coward. Absolutely.
That's some coward ass shit. And then people wonder why I support the Midwest clubs. I really do. Because they're not like that. They're the true old school, I believe. But other people have their support stuff. But it is what it is. Go ahead.
I agree. There's some clubs that I say they got it right. That's how I describe it. And the clubs out of the Midwest, definitely. I mean, they are some of the oldest clubs out there. That's where Harley Davidson comes from, is the Midwest. And they were the original people that rebelled against the AMA back when the AMA was trying to shove a one-way system down everybody's throat. These were the guys that rebelled against that one-way system, and in my opinion became the first 1%ers.
Right.
And they are just as righteous as it gets. Yeah.
Well, not only Chicago, we're talking Wisconsin or Florida or Iowa or Colorado. Them clubs, they're actually welcoming, man. Because there's a lot of times where I'll hear from people, I tried to go to an open house, but it felt so tense. I don't believe in that stuff. And you know what? There's other clubs like the Chosen Few that I really like. Some really nice fucking down-to-earth guys are in the Chosen Few as well on the West Coast. Then you got East Bay Dragons and, of course, Black Sabbath. Those are the type of clubs that really set the example within the MC scene, is Midwest and the ones I talked about.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're approachable, like you said, and that counts for a lot. Some of these other clubs, like the club that was involved in that incident that I did the post on with the picture at the gas pump, I mean, those dudes, man, they can be pretty brutal, and it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, I understand if you want to have an introverted, tight-knit club, etc., but bullying people, it's like I said, every action gets an equal and opposite reaction, and that's what people need to keep in mind.
Well, another thing that the clubs need to keep in mind is that it ain't like it used to be, man. You go up and there's some guys that were bangers and stuff like that. They're not going to take that crap. They're going to pull out a gun and shoot you right between the eyes. It is not like it used to be. I know a lot of people complain about bangers coming up, but hey, it's a lot different breed.
Right. That's right. And, that's what I worry about the most for some of these clubs that are out there, rolling gas station to gas station, checking everybody's patches is, what happens when they roll up on the wrong group of guys and bam, there's the next Waco, and it's going to clamp down on all of us, I ride with my patches on almost every single day, and, I I don't want to have to deal with getting pulled over a block from my house every time I leave my house. And that, that could very easily become the case. That's the case in Texas from what I hear. And, any place where the next incident like that happens, that's how it's going to end up being. And, that's what I'm trying to spread positivity and spread, positive change so that we can avoid stuff like that. I just want to see this culture live forever and prosper.
Right. Now, you know what? We've had some 1%ers, mostly on the East and West Coast. They complain about us, because we're a biker news publication, man. That's what we do is biker news. As a 1%er, what's your thoughts about how we cover the news, man? Do you think we should keep it under wraps, or you think we should go straight through the middle and cut it both ways? Their side, the club side, and hey, if the clubs are in the news, they're in the news.
Hey, I watch your show every day. I'm a huge fan. I watch it because it is not biased, because I know I'm going to get the truth, and I wouldn't have it any other way. If clubs mess up, then they got to be ready to, face the music. If your club is out there doing stupid shit, and you get caught, and that it's going to get reported on. And I mean, that's dishonest media. There's nothing worse than that. The truth is the right way to go every time. I wouldn't change a thing about your show. I watch it every day.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I really do. I do know that people get upset. Hey, it sounds like you're skewing one way or another, when actually, I am I got to cover, since, we're part of a news association, I got to cover the one side. And I always give clubs the opportunity to get theirs either out in a statement, off the record comments and all that good stuff. But if we're being biased, there's some sites out there the clubs can do no wrong. Well, if we take up that position, then that ain't helping the scene as a whole.
That's right. That's right.
You got to be straightforward, I think.
I do. I love that part about your show, that you always give clubs the opportunity to call in and do interviews. That anytime any club is involved in any type of story, I mean, I would totally take advantage of that. If I was a club involved in a news story and, you were covering it and gave the opportunity to call in and give our side of the story, I would totally take advantage of that.
Well, yeah, like I said before, our platform reaches probably 10 times the people throughout all our platforms, 10 times what a local news station gets. But, I think that's important to cover it correctly. But I also think what you're doing, and, as a 1%er getting into your own deal, is it gives perspective to those that are going to start following you. And it's coming from a club member's point of view. See, you're pushing that, you want the scene to be positive and stuff like that, where we cover biker news and I push riding clubs and social clubs. And the reason why I do that is most people are not freaking ready to get into a club. I just don't believe they are. I've seen a lot of them on the street, and it's like, really? You want to, just join a club? You don't even know who they are.
Right. Absolutely. Your average Joe should definitely work his way up from riding club. I'm totally in agreement with that for sure.
Well, one of the first things I'm saying is, because clubs ride deuce, if you don't know them, how the frick are you going to ride next to them? You got to know who the riding skill is, or if you're going to go out there and back somebody, how are you going to do it if you don't know them? Most of these people just want to go straight to the freaking probate period, or they want to get a patch right away, and you don't even know them.
That's right. And like, for example, if you're not that proficient of a rider, man, I've seen brand new hang-arounds at the very back of the pack cause some pretty gnarly accidents, man, and you don't want to be that guy, And, it's, you definitely want to take your time coming into this world, and learn as much as you can, and taking the route of a riding club or even a support club before just trying to delve right into the pros,
Right. Well, the support clubs, are the best. You don't got, and most people don't understand what one percenters, man. You got a lot of money into it, a lot of time. If you want to be around a lot of great guys, go support club, man. If you're going to do anything like that,
Absolutely.
just got to get prepared, man. But I really like your material where you're saying, let's try to get along, let's try to do it the right thing. And you pointed out the regions, man. You were smack dab on the regions. And I try not to mention it anymore because I get the headaches. Trust me, I get headaches. It's mostly the damn supporters I get the headaches from. But one thing I really do appreciate you bringing up was J.R. Reed, man. If you guys do not know who JR is, you don't know your damn history when it comes to a motorcycle club. He was one of the most influential people behind NCOM, and I will be doing an interview with a representative from NCOM because I really want to freaking dispel this crap that you have to pay street tax to the NCOM. That is the biggest BS that I've ever heard.
Yeah, that is awesome, man. I can't wait to tune into that show.
Yeah, he's a real good guy, and the stuff that gets started from people that actually don't know, and that's why one of the other reasons why I can't stand cops on YouTube talking about motorcycle clubs. For one, they were infiltrators. Two, they don't like clubs. Three, they'll say whatever they can to make clubs look bad, and one of them things is the street tax. And next thing you know, these people look at these videos and they're saying, oh, wait a second, the clubs, they charge street tax, the one percenters make all the money. That's BS, man. They got they got all kinds of clubs down the Christian clubs on their boards, man. So
that's right. Absolutely.
But
yeah, the income is a very positive thing for sure, and everybody, one good thing about income is, like you said, you've got people all the way down to Christian clubs, and everybody's there to kind of watch each other and keep each other in line. There's no, like, one club controlling everything, or, like people like to make it out to be,
Right.
Income is a righteous thing, and, J.R. Reed, like you said, that was his original thing, his idea, and, that's a perfect example of a positive change coming to the MC world to help the MC world adapt when it has to adapt to change with the times.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't understand NCOM. They're the ones fighting for everybody's right. It just ain't motorcycle clubs, man. A lot of stuff that bikers enjoy right now is because of NCOM. They're the ones that are fighting everything. Well, just look at the MC club color policy out of bars. They're pulling people out of bars that are A-Bait members and freaking Hog members, man. It's just not regular motorcycle club members, so they're the ones out there fighting. They're also the ones out there that did the Save the Patch deal when the Mongols were going through this stuff, and they're still going through this stuff. So, what I always hate is the bikers, they'll go out there and complain about NCOM, but, well, what are you doing? What are you doing for rights? Are you part of NCOM as a club member? Are you a part of A-Bait? Are you part of MRF? So to me, it's like, do you really have a place to bitch?
Right. One that I really respect and love, and I don't know what the organization he's with is Double D. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Oh, Double D. He is with NCOC. Double D is one of the hardest working people that I ever heard of, man. He's with MPP2, Motorcycle Profiling Project. And he is in the thick of things, man. Yeah, for sure. And, state by state, I love when I see a new state take up that those anti-profiling laws. Awesome. Right. How you doing, Glenn? Hey, everybody in the chat room. I haven't said hi to you guys in a while, so how you guys all doing there? I'm watching your chats and stuff. But we're really into this conversation. The last state that got that was Idaho.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Awesome.
Double D, A-Bait, all them out there working, man. The MPP is huge. They're out there working their asses off.
Absolutely.
And
Yep. That's what I love to see. Yeah.
And for people out there talking crap, man, I think that's what really bugs me. That's why I got a sit down production video coming out with the Chicago COC, and I got the interview coming up with NCOM. That way, hopefully, things can be put straight out into the MC scene that, hey, these ain't the ones you should be fighting. Yeah. What's your thoughts about how the modern day biker is, man? There always used to be a line, and bikers didn't cross that line over to cops. Now it's like everybody runs to the freaking cops.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell who's who anymore as far as who's righteous and who lives by that true old code. It's if you live by that true old code nowadays, it's like your friends are you can count them on one hand. You know what I mean? You're real people you can trust. Today's modern biker that comes on. When you look at like the old 1960s videos of the Hells Angels, for example, out in California, San Bernardino, they were a bunch of 25-year-old kids just like living as vagrants, and just none of them had jobs really, and they were just having a ball. And you look at today's modern MC member, and most of them are blue collar business owners, and with a family and kids in school, and you know what I mean? It's a completely different era.
Oh yeah, it is.
And yeah, that's why I have such great respect for the older guys in clubs. Personally, to me, it's a treat to ever get, to have a long conversation with a veteran member of a 1% club, especially.
Oh, exactly, man. I'm like a kid in the candy store. I'll just sit there and sit there and listen. It's like, being a little kid. It's like they talk, you sit down and shut up.
That's right. Yeah. There are righteous people in every generation, but personally, I love the dudes from the old generation. I'll listen to them forever, yeah.
Well, the Vietnam generation, I think, was a generation that, I'm talking motorcycle culture. I'm not talking about wars and stuff like that, because, World War II, that generation, it was the greatest generation. But Vietnam, that generation taught us how to rebel, and taught us how to not trust the government, okay? But they also taught us, how to live. They taught us what it was to be a biker. And to get to sit down with one of them guys who went through the 60s, coming right out of Vietnam, or that generation, is just mind-boggling, man. These kids nowadays, it's like, you wouldn't know what to do with one of them.
That's right. And that's some of my greatest inspiration is when I hear from, I spoke with like a 40-year Vago member the other day, and he told me, right on, I love what you're doing, Miklo. And it's stuff like that really inspires me to keep going and keep doing what I'm doing. The opinion of those men is who counts the most to me.
Right. None of these supporters, man. And that's funny, when I do the shows and stuff like that, you get the supporters running off at the mouth. It's like, really? Anyway.
Right, exactly.
And you'll get them too. As your channel grows, you'll get the haters, man. It just depends on what is your core audience and stuff, how they'll act. But, I really appreciate having you on, man. We went about 50 minutes with you. I got to get into the other topics of the show, but it was awesome talking with you. And I really hope your channel goes good. What's your channel?
It's called Los Perros MC.
Los Perros?
It's our club channel. And
rock and roll.
It's our club channel. It's also my channel, yeah.
How about your Facebook one, man?
Our Facebook page is MC for Life. You can just type in the Facebook search bar MC for Life, all caps.
Rock and roll.
And we try to put out something every day, yeah.
Well, what you should do, man, is after you get off the phone, is jump on the chat room and chat with everybody. Get your channel out there on Facebook.
For sure, yeah.
Rock and roll, man.
I thank you so much for having me on, man. Yeah.
Never a problem, Miklo. Yeah, go ahead and check him out. He might be in the chat room talking to you guys, man, while I go and do the next segment. But really appreciate having you on, Miklo.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too, buddy.